Hey everyone, have you ever noticed how some people just they can say so much with just a few words?
Yeah.
It's like they've got this secret communication code or something.
Right.
We've been doing a deep dive into some research about English fluency.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that one of the biggest keys to sounding more confident and fluent
Okay.
might actually be simplifying your sentences.
It's true.
What?
Sometimes the simplest tool is the most effective.
Okay.
Think of it like this. If you're trying to give someone directions,
Yeah.
would you rather have this long rambling explanation
Right.
or clear, concise instructions?
Short and sweet every time, especially if I'm in a new city and I just need to find the nearest coffee shop.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of simple sentences. They cut through the clutter.
Yeah.
They get your message across clearly.
Right.
You avoid misunderstandings. You keep everyone on the same page.
Makes sense.
And it's especially helpful when you're still learning a language.
I see what you mean.
But I have to admit, part of me still thinks, don't I need to use those, fancy, complex sentences to sound really fluent,
Right.
Show off my vocabulary and all that?
It's a common misconception.
Is it?
But fluency isn't about packing as many words into a sentence as possible.
Oh.
It's about expressing yourself clearly and effectively.
Okay.
Think of it like building a house.
Uh-huh.
You need a strong foundation before you start adding all the bells and whistles.
Right.
Like those basic sentence structures.
Yeah.
The core vocabulary.
Yeah.
Those are your building blocks.
Okay, so I'm basically working on my fluency foundation.
Yes.
One simple sentence at a time.
Precisely. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Using simpler sentences can actually help you reduce mistakes.
Really?
So instead of saying something like, I was endeavoring to procure sustenance,
Right.
you could simply say, I was getting food.
Yeah.
Less chance of a grammar error.
Right. That's a great example.
Yeah.
It's so much clearer and more natural. Yeah.
But making mistakes is part of learning, right?
Of course.
I don't need to push myself to use more complex grammar to really improve.
Mistakes are part of the process.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But think about it.
Okay.
If you're using simply grammar,
Uh-huh.
there's less room for errors. That means you'll feel more confident when you speak,
Makes sense.
which naturally leads to less hesitation and more fluency.
Okay, I hadn't thought of it like that before.
A win-win.
Less pressure, more confidence.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the appeal of this simplicity thing.
Good.
But there's something else too, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned how using simple sentences can actually help with listening skills.
That's right. It's all about training your ear to focus on those essential elements of communication.
Interesting.
When you practice using clear, concise language yourself, you start to recognize those same patterns and phrases in the way others speak.
So by simplifying my own English,
Yeah.
I'm kind of creating a mental shortcut for understanding what other people are saying.
Exactly. You're tuning in to those core words and structures, which makes it easier to grasp the main points, even if you miss a word or two. And that's a huge advantage in any conversation, whether you're chatting with friends, attending a meeting, or watching a movie.
This is so fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm already starting to rethink my whole approach to speaking English. It's like I've been trying to climb this mountain with this heavy backpack
Yeah.
full of unnecessary stuff, when really all I needed was a lightweight essential kit.
It's a great analogy.
Right.
And speaking of feeling weighed down,
Okay.
have you ever noticed how sometimes we just freeze up in conversations?
Oh, yeah.
Even when we know what we want to say.
Absolutely.
It's like our brains get stuck in overdrive trying to construct the perfect sentence.
That happens to me all the time. I get so focused on finding the right words
Yeah.
or using impressive grammar that I end up stumbling over my words
Yeah.
and just giving up altogether.
It's a common experience, and it's often linked to that fear of making mistakes or sounding unintelligent. But here's the thing. Using simpler sentences can actually help with that hesitation.
Okay.
When you're not trying to juggle complex grammar or searching for the perfect synonym,
Yeah.
you free up mental space to focus on expressing your thoughts clearly and directly.
So it's like I'm taking the pressure off myself
Exactly.
by giving myself permission to use simpler language.
Exactly. And as you practice this, you'll find that your communication becomes smoother and more natural.
Okay.
You build momentum and confidence, which carries over into every conversation.
That makes a lot of sense. Instead of getting lost in the weeds of complicated grammar,
Yeah.
I can just focus on the essence of what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But doesn't simplifying my English make it sound too simple? Like I'm talking to a child or something?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between using simple language and dumbing down your English.
Okay.
It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're clear, concise, and still engaging. Think about some of the most effective communicators you know.
Okay.
They often have a way of distilling complex ideas into simple, relatable terms.
That's true. I'm thinking of like some of my favorite teachers or presenters.
Yeah.
And they always made things so easy to understand without ever making me feel like patronized or anything.
Exactly. And that's because they understood the power of clarity and conciseness.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to impress with their vocabulary. They were trying to connect with their audience and make sure that their message was understood.
Okay. That's a really helpful distinction.
Yeah.
It's not about sacrificing eloquence or sophistication.
Right.
It's about prioritizing clarity and connection.
Precisely. And when you free yourself from that pressure of using overly complex language, you allow your personality to shine through. You're not hiding behind a wall of words. You're simply being yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's not about dumbing down my English. It's about letting my authentic voice be heard.
Exactly. And that authenticity is what truly connects with others. It builds rapport. It makes you more relatable. And it makes the whole communication process feel more natural and enjoyable.
Right.
It's about focusing on those core vocabulary words.
Okay.
Like, go eat, happy, sad.
The basics.
The words we use every single day.
I'm starting to see how this can be really liberating.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to sound like a textbook,
Right?
I can just focus on being genuine
Yeah.
and expressing myself in a way that feels comfortable.
And that comfort will translate into greater confidence and fluency.
Okay.
It's amazing how something as simple as using simpler sentences can have such a profound impact on our communication skills.
It really is. We've talked about clarity, fluency, confidence, even listening skills. Is there anything else this simple sentence magic can do?
Well, there's one more benefit that's worth mentioning. Using clear, concise language can actually make you a more engaging communicator.
Really? I would have thought that, like, using more complex language would make me sound more interesting.
It might seem that way, but in reality, people are drawn to speakers who are easy to understand.
Okay.
When you use simple language, you're not just conveying information.
Yeah.
You're inviting people to connect with your ideas on a deeper level.
So it's not about showing off my vocabulary. It's about making a genuine connection with the people I'm talking to.
Exactly. And that connection is what makes communication truly meaningful.
Yeah.
It's what turns a simple exchange of words into a shared experience.
This has been so eye-opening. I'm already feeling inspired to simplify my approach to English, but I have to ask, like, where do I even begin? How do I actually put this into practice?
That's a great question. It starts with awareness.
Okay.
Pay attention to how you're currently using English.
Uh-huh.
Are your sentences overly complicated?
Right.
Are you trying to cram in too much information at once?
So it's like doing a little self-audit of my English habits?
Exactly. Once you're more aware of your patterns, you can start making conscious choices to simplify.
Okay, that makes sense. But what are some, like, practical ways to do that? I mean, where do I start chopping?
One helpful tip is to break down long, complex sentences into shorter, more manageable chunks.
Got it.
Think about the core message you want to convey and strip away any unnecessary words or phrases.
Kind of like decluttering my sentences.
Precisely, and don't be afraid to use those basic sentence structures we talked about earlier.
Right.
Remember, they're the foundation of clear communication.
Yeah.
Subject, verb, object.
Yeah.
These are your bread and butter.
So I go to the store, I buy milk. Totally acceptable.
Absolutely. It's grammatically correct. It's clear and it gets the point across.
Right.
From there, you can gradually add more detail and complexity as you feel more comfortable.
So maybe I go to the store because I need to buy milk. Baby steps.
Exactly. Another helpful tip is to focus on using core vocabulary, those everyday words that form the backbone of any language.
So instead of saying I am experiencing a state of profound exhaustion, I could just say I'm really tired.
Perfect. It's direct, it's relatable, and it avoids any potential for confusion.
This is amazing. I'm starting to see how this simplicity thing can be quite liberating.
Good.
It's like I'm giving myself permission to relax and just focus on getting my message across.
It really is. It frees you from the pressure of trying to sound overly formal or academic.
Yeah.
It allows you to express yourself in a way that feels natural and authentic.
And that authenticity is what truly resonates with others, right? It's what makes us better communicators and helps us build stronger connections.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that sometimes the most effective solutions are the simplest ones.
I couldn't agree more. This deep dive has been a complete revelation. Who knew that something as simple as simplifying our sentences could have such a profound impact on our English fluency and confidence?
It's all about finding the right tools for the job, and sometimes the simplest tool is the most effective.
Well said. So to our amazing listeners, we hope you found this deep dive as eye-opening as we did. If you're ready to embrace the power of simple sentences, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, experiences, and maybe even a few of your favorite simple sentences in the comments below. And hey, if you're enjoying the deep dive, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It really helps others find the show and keeps these deep dives coming. Until next time, happy English learning.